Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Thursday, December 29, 2022. A big show today. College football bowls, college basketball, NBA, NHL, Thursday night football, soccer, NBA power rankings, news and notes, and best bet. We'll start with the bowls. We had 4 yesterday. We'll go over them all. Today we have 3. There are some dandies in there. As Military Bowl, Duke over UCF 30-13. Duke finishes 9-4. UCF finishes 9-5. Successful year for Duke, in my opinion. UCF, a little disappointing to where they've been in years past. Liberty Bowl is the game of the night. Arkansas over Kansas 55-53 in triple overtime. Kansas recovers the onside kick to force overtime as they fall short of finishing above 500. Still a successful year for them, in my opinion. They're 6-7. Arkansas finishes 7-6. I'd say that's a disappointing year for them, despite winning the bowl game. Considering expectations before the year. The Holiday Bowl, number 15, Oregon over North Carolina, 28-27. So best bet comes through easily. Carolina probably should have won this game. Oregon finishes 10-3. Carolina finishes a disappointing 9-5. And then the Texas Bowl, Texas Tech over Ole Miss, 42-25. So the under barely hits in this game. Texas Tech finishes 8-5. Ole Miss finishes 8-5 as well. 3 games today, 2 o'clock on ESPN. You have the Pinstripe Bowl, Syracuse and Minnesota from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. My projections here, Minnesota by 3.5, total 46 3/10, and it is 10.5 and 44.5. That is way too high for Minnesota. Give me Syracuse getting the points in what I think is going to be a pro-Syracuse crowd in the Bronx, right? 5:30 ESPN, you have the Cheez-It Bowl. In Orlando. Oklahoma and number 13, Florida State. My line's Florida State by 9, total 59 1/5, and it is 9.5 and 65.5. I'm going to take the under. There are some guys missing on each side, I think, so I'm going to go with the under in that game. And at 9 o'clock on ESPN tonight, the Alamo Bowl, number 20, Texas, number 12, Washington. That's a really good bowl game. Bijan Robinson's not playing at the Alamo Dome. My projections, Washington by 7, total 62, and it's Texas by 3, total 67.5. Give me Washington plus the 3 and plus 126 outright. No, Bijan's going to hurt Texas, and I think Washington is going to be more motivated in this spot than Texas. So give me Washington getting the points. All right, now I'll move on to college basketball. We'll go over the games from yesterday. We had some conference play yesterday. We'll look ahead to today's games. Very busy college basketball slate today. A ton of conference games will be kicking off. Our conference play will be kicking off today. Penn over Wilkes, 93-61. Maryland Eastern over Columbia, 74-67 in overtime. Number 7, Tennessee over Ole Miss, 63-59. Number 10, Gonzaga over Eastern Oregon, 120-42. Number 18, TCU over Central Arkansas, 103-57. A&M Corpus Christi over Our Lady of the Lake, 88-74. UNC Wilmington over Monmouth, 68-65. Number 13, Virginia over Albany, 66-46. Number 2, UConn over Villanova, 74-66. Missouri over number 19, Kentucky, 89-75. Number 20, Auburn over Florida, 61-58. Ball State over Chicago State, 70-63. UCF over Wichita, 52-45. Temple over ECU, 59-57. Richmond over Coppin State, 83-65. Harvard over Maine, 74-73. In overtime, Dayton over Duquesne, 69-57. Davidson over Fordham, 57-43. Georgia over Rider, 78-72. Stanford over Mercer, 78-69. Number 12, Baylor over Nichols, 85-56. Missouri State over Northern Iowa, 79-67. UIC over Illinois State, 55-51. Belmont over Bradley, 63-60. Number 3, Houston over Tulsa, 89-50. Number 8, Alabama over number 21, Mississippi State, 78-67. LSU over number 9, Arkansas, 60-57. Number 22, Xavier over St. John's, 84-79. Number 22, New Mexico over Colorado State, 88-69. Sacramento State over Stanislaus State, 72-51. Southern Utah over New Mexico State, 79-75. San Jose State over UNLV, 75-72 in overtime. Nevada over Boise State, 74-72. Fresno State over Wyoming, 58-53. Air Force loses to San Diego State, 71-55. Number 14, Miami, Vermont, canceled due to weather. Big day today in college basketball. 1 o'clock on the Big Ten. Eric Brown at Northwestern. My projection is Northwestern 18 1/4, total 125 and 17/20. And it is 13.5 and 126.5. I'm going to lay with Northwestern. Wagner LIU, my line is Wagner by 9, total 138 or 139 and 4/5, and it's 7.5 and 140.5. Where do I go is the question. Slight Wagner. 2 o'clock, LaSalle Howard. My line is LaSalle 4 1/4, total 139 and 1/5, and it's 1.5 and 138.5. I'm going to lay it with LaSalle. Delaware State, Penn State, my line is Penn State by 30, total 139 and 9/20, and it is 29.5 and 136.5. Over. UNC Greensboro and Western Carolina. My line's Western by 1/4, total 138 and 3/20, and it is Greensboro by 4.5, total 136.5. I think the wrong team's favored. Give me Western Carolina plus 4.5 and plus 172 to win. Stonehill, Sacred Heart. My line is Sacred Heart by 12.5, total 145, and it is 4.5 and 149.5. I'm going to lay the 4.5 with Sacred Heart. 3 o'clock, Big Ten Network, Alabama A&M and Ohio State. Mine's Ohio State by 30, total 146 and 2/5, and it is 27.5 and 143.5. I'm going to take the over. High Point, Longwood. My line's Longwood by 7 1/4, total 149 and 1/10, and it is 5.5 and 150.5. Slight Longwood. Lane College, Alabama State, we can skip. That's at 4 o'clock. Radford and Asheville. Mine's Asheville by 10, total 147 and 11/20, and it is 2.5 and 144.5. Ooh, give me Asheville minus the points. That is a no-brainer. Elon and Drexel. My line is Drexel 16 1/4, total 135 and 13/20, and it's 11.5 and 135.5. I'm going to lay it with Drexel. Florida A&M at number 1 Purdue on the Big Ten Network at 5 o'clock. My line is Purdue 34, total 136 and 1/10, and it is 37.5 and 132.5. Over. Ohio Dominican and Bowling Green, we can skip. Winthrop SC Upstate. My line is Winthrop by 1 3/4, so 147 and 1/5, and it is 3.5 and 146.5. Slight lean the Upstate. Campbell Presbyterian. My line's Campbell by 4, total 133 and 11/20, and it's 2.5 and 127.5. I'm going to take the over. Lourdes Toledo, we can skip. 6 o'clock, Middle Tennessee, Charlotte. My line is Charlotte 1.5, total 134, and it is 2.5 and 124.5. Over. Austin P. Queens. My line is Queens by 4, total 139, and a 20th, and it's 7.5 and 138.5. I'm going to take Austin P. getting the points. Fox Sports 1, 6:30, Providence Butler. My line is Providence 2.5, total 143.5, and it is, oh my God, Butler 1.5, total 140.5. Why is Butler favored? I know the Vegas knows proposition all too well. Give me Providence getting the points in plus 108 outright. Liberty and Bellarmine. My line's Liberty by 9, total 133 and 1/5, and it is 6.5 and 126.5. Over. St. Mary's of the Wood, Miami of Ohio, and Florida College FIU. We can skip those. Those are 7 o'clock games. Binghamton, Cornell. My line is Cornell by 7 3/4, total 149 and 3/10. And we got 13.5 and 153.5. I'm going to take Binghamton getting all those points. UTSA and Louisiana Tech. My line's Tech by 8, total 144 and 19/20, and it is 13.5 and 144.5. I'm going to take UTSA getting the points. Rice, Western Kentucky. My line's Western by 5 1/4, total 148 and 19/20, and it's 6.5 and 149.5. Ooh. Slight lean the Rice. Iowa, Nebraska on the Big Ten Network. My line is Iowa 3.5, total 144 and 7/20, and we got 4.5 and 150.5. Under. Central Michigan, Michigan. My line's Michigan by 25 1/4, total 144 and 17/20, and it's 21.5 and 145.5. I'm going to lay the points with Michigan. UMBC Maryland on ESPNU. My line is Maryland 13 1/4, total 142 and 19/20, and it's 17.5 and 146.5. Ooh. That's another tough one. I'm going to go take UMBC getting the points. Charleston Southern and Gardner-Webb. I can't find that one. I can't find it on the list. All right, we'll get back to that one, I guess. VMI Furman. My line is Furman 17, total 149 and 7/20, and it is 17.5 and 149.5. That's dead on the money. Slight VMI. East Tennessee State Wofford. My line is Wofford by 9, total 139 and 3/10, and it is 6.5 and 139.5. I'm going to lay to 6.5 with Wofford. Chattanooga in the Citadel. My line is Chattanooga by 6 1/4, total 145 and 17/20, and we got 7.5 and 146.5. Again, very close. So here would be a slight lean to the Citadel. Central Con and St. Fran, PA. My line is St. Fran, PA by 7, total 142 and 1/5, and it is 3.5 and 141.5. I'm going to lay the points in St. Fran, PA. Merrimack and Fairleigh Dickinson. My projection is Fairleigh Dickinson by 2, total 139.5. And it's 3.5 and 137.5. Over. Arkansas State Old Dominion. My line's Old Dominion by 6 3/4, total 131 3/4. And it is 10.5 and 124.5. Over. James Madison and Georgia State. My line's JMU by 2, total 146 3/10, and it's 5.5 and 142.5. I'm gonna take the over. Louisiana and Coastal Carolina. My line is Louisiana by 8.5, total 148 and 19/20, and it's 2.5 and 147.5. I'm gonna lay the points with Louisiana. App State Marshall. My line's Marshall by 9, total 142 and 3/5. And we got 10.5 and 146.5. Under. Wright State, Northern Kentucky. My line's Northern by 5, total 140 and 1/5. And we got 2.5 and 131.5. Over. Easy. Milwaukee, Oakland. My line is Milwaukee by 1/4, total 148 and 17/20. And it is Oakland 1.5, total 152.5. Under. Green Bay, Detroit. My line's Detroit by 10 3/4, total 140 and 7/10, and it is 14.5 and 141.5. I'm going to take Green Bay getting the points. Purdue, Fort Wayne, and Robert Morris. My line is Purdue, Fort Wayne by 6 3/4, total 135 and 7/10, and it is 2.5 and 139.5. I'm going to lay the points with Purdue, Fort Wayne. NC 18 Northeastern, minus Northeastern by 8, total 136 and 2/5. And it's 5.5 and 134.5. I'm going to lay the points with Northeastern. Hampton Charleston, minus Charleston 25, total 149 and 7/20, and it is 20.5 and 151.5. And we laid the points at Charleston. CBS Sports Network, Hofstra, Delaware. My line is UDel 5.5, total 143 and 4/5, and it is essentially a pick'em, but Delaware by a half, total 146.5. Give me UDel minus the half. New Hampshire, Dartmouth postponed, 7:30 UTEP and UAB. My line is UAB by 11.5, total 144 and 3/5. And we got 15.5 and 144.5. I'm going to take UTEP getting the points. Abilene Christian and Stephen F. Austin. My line is Stephen F. Austin by 3.25, total 144 and 3/5. It's 4.5 and 144.5. Slight lean to Abilene Christian. Huston, Tilliston, and Texas Southern. That's an 8 o'clock game. You can skip that. South Florida, Memphis. Mine's Memphis 19.5, total 140 and 2/5. And we got 14.5 and 141.5. I'm going to lay the points with Memphis. North American Grambling, we can skip Southern Illinois and Murray State. My line is Southern by 4, total 135 and 19/20, and it's Murray State by 1.5, total 133.5. I'm going to take Southern Illinois plus 1.5 and minus 108 to win. So that line's obviously going in the other direction. Evansville, Indiana State. My line's Indiana State by 14.25, total 142.25. And we got 15.5 and 144.5. Under. FAU, North Texas. My line's North Texas by 3.25, total 138 and 2/5. And we got here 2.5 and 123.5. Over. Fox Sports 2 in Georgetown, DePaul. My line's DePaul by 5, total 149 and 4/5. And it's 4.5 and 153.5. Under. Alcorn State in Minnesota. They must have moved some start times around. Texas Arlington, Tarleton. My line is Tarleton by 6, total 131 and 7/20, and it is 7.5 and 130.5. Oof. Slight lean to Texas Arlington. Sam Houston and Utah Valley. My line is Valley by 3, total 135 and 13/20, and it is 2.5 and 131.5. Over. Cal Baptist and Grand Canyon. My line is Grand Canyon by 7.75, total 127.75, and it is 5.5 and 128.5. I'm going to lay the points at Grand Canyon. Troy Southern Miss. My line Southern Miss by 3.75, total 141 and 1/5. And it's 3.5 and 142.5. Slight under. Yale Monroe and Texas State. My line is State by 17.75, total 135 and 7/20, and we got I can't find this one on the list. There must be an injury or something that we are. I know. Oh, there it is. 11.5 and 133.5. We laid the points at Texas State. South Alabama and Georgia Southern. My line is South Alabama by 3.25, total 135 and 3/10. And it's 2.5 and 131.5. Over. Western Illinois and South Dakota State. My line is South Dakota State by 3.5, total 143 and 9/10. And we got 7.5 and 145.5. I'm going to take Western getting the points. St. Thomas, Minnesota, and South Dakota. Minus South Dakota by 2 3/4. So on 40 2/5. And it is St. Thomas by 1.5. Total 142.5. But the money line suggests it's a pick'em. So that's kind of weird. I'll take the 1.5 and minus 110 outright for right now. Oral Roberts and Omaha. Mine's Oral Roberts by 10 1/4. Total 146 9/20. And we got 12.5 and 153.5 under. Cleveland State and Youngstown State. My line is Youngstown by 7.5. Total 143 3/5. And we got 6.5 and 141.5 over. Cal State, Bakersfield, and UC Riverside. It's Riverside by 8 1/4. Total 130 19/20. And it's 10.5 and 123.5 over. 8:30 Fox Sports 1. Bethune and Illinois. By the way, Alcorn State, Minnesota canceled. Mounts Illinois by 32 7/20. Total 144 17/20. I think I meant to put Illinois by 32 1/4. There we go. Total 144 17/20. I don't know why that was read out wrong. 30.5 and 144.5. Slate, Illinois. Tennessee Tech and SIU. Edwardsville. Mine's Edwardsville by 10 1/4. Total 144 19/20. And it is 10.5 and 138.5 over. Southeast Missouri State and Southern Indiana. My line is Southern by 1.5. Total 147 17/20. And it is 4.5 and 153.5 under. Tennessee Martin and Little Rock. My line is Martin by 5. Total 153 1/10. And it's Little Rock by 1.5. Total 154.5. Give me Tennessee Martin plus 1.5 and minus 105 outright. That line's on the verge of moving. Lindenwood and Eastern Illinois. My line's Eastern by 2 3/4. Total 140 3/5. And it's 3.5 and 139.5. Slide over. 9 o'clock on ESPN2. Tulane and Cincinnati. My line is Cincinnati by 5 3/4. Total 148.5. And it's 4.5 and 150.5. Under. CBS Sports Network, Valpo, Drake. Mine's Drake 16, total 140 3/4. At 16.5 and 139.5. Slide over. Texas, Rio Grande, and Utah Tech. My line is Tech by 2 3/4, so 156 9/10, and it's 9.5 and 158.5. Rio Grande Valley getting the points. Little Merrimack and Portland. Mine's Portland 6.5, total 147 3/10, and it is 3.5 and 148.5. I'm going to lay the points of Portland. San Diego and St. Mary's. My line is St. Mary's by 10 3/4, so 141 1/4. And it's 15.5 and 135.5. Oof. I'm going to take the over. BYU Pacific. My line is BYU by 7 3/4, so 146 3/4. And it's 6.5 and 148.5. Slight under. Kansas City, Denver. My line is Denver by 9, total 138 in the 10th, and it is 2.5 and 133.5. Oof, I'm laying the points of Denver. Morehead State and Tennessee State. My line is State by 2 1/4, total 140 9/10, and it is 3.5 and 141.5. Slight Morehead State. UC Santa Barbara against Fullerton on ESPNU. My line is Barbara by 7.5, total 137 and a 20th, and it is 6.5 and 126.5. Over. Northern Colorado and Weber State. My line is Weber by 3/4, so 142 and 13/20, and it's 3.5 and 142.5. I'm going to take Northern Colorado plus 3.5, and they're plus 140 to win too. Northern Arizona and Idaho State. My line's Northern Arizona by 1 1/4, total 44 and 17/20. And we got 1.5 and 136.5 over. Idaho and Montana State. My line is Montana State by 16 1/4, total 41 and 2/5. It's 11.5 and 142.5. I'm going to lay the points. Eastern Washington and Montana. My line's Montana by 8 1/4, total 38 3/4, and it is 5.5 and 141.5. Just about the same distance. So, safe play, I'm going to lay with Montana. 10 o'clock, Pac-12 Network, Utah, Cal. My line is Utah by 8.5, total 131 and 3/20, and it is 10.5 and 128.5. Over. San Francisco, Santa Clara. My line is San Francisco by 1/4, total 42 3/4, and it's Santa Clara by 1.5, total 50.5. Under. Cal State Northridge and Cal Poly. My line is Poly by 8 1/4, total 29 3/4. And it is 5.5 and 125.5. Over. UC San Diego and Long Beach State. My line is Long Beach State by 11 1/4, total 39.5. And it's 9.5 and 141.5. Under. 11 o'clock, ESPNU, Colorado, Stanford. Mine's Stanford by 1 1/4, total 38 4/5, and it's 2.5 and 140.5. Slight under. And last but not least, UC Davis, Hawaii at midnight. My line is Hawaii 8.5, total 138 2/5, and it's 6.5 and 134.5. I'm going to take the over. And whatever happened to that one game that we couldn't find on the list between Chasso and Gardner-Webb? Oh, they moved it to 5 o'clock. Okay, Gardner-Webb by 8 3/4, total 138 and 9/20, and it is. They just moved the start time up for this game for some reason. 9.5 and 136.5. Slight over. Okay, now move on to the NBA. That was a long college basketball segment because we have a lot of college basketball today. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to a smaller window for tonight. Pistons over the Magic, 121-101. Wizards over the Suns, 127-102. Nets over the Hawks, 108-107. Heat over the Lakers, 112-98. Bulls over the Bucks, 119-113 in overtime. Pelicans over the Timberwolves, 119-118. Warriors over the Jazz, 112-107. And the Kings over the Nuggets, 127-126. 6 games today. 7 o'clock, give the Thunder and the Hornets projection. Thunder by 1 3/4, so 230 and 9/10. And we got 1 and 239 under. Charlotte by 1, by the way. Cavs Pacers, my line is Cavs by 6 3/4, so 223 and a 20th, and it's 5 and 223.5. So is it slight under or slight Cavs? Slight Cavs is it. 7:30 NBA TV, Clips Celtics. My line is Celtics by 6 3/4, total 224 and 2/5, and it's 6 and 227. Under. Grizzlies Raptors. My line is Grizzlies by 1/4, total 224 and 3/4, and it's 3 and 228.5. Another under. 8 o'clock, Knicks Spurs. My line's Knicks by 5, total 229 and 2/5, and it's 5 and 226.5. I'm going to go with the over, even though the Knicks don't have RJ Barrett and potentially Jalen Brunson tonight. And on 8:30, we have Rockets Mavs. My line's Mavs by 14 3/4, total 223 and 13/20. It's 10.5 and 225.5. I'm going to lay the points with the Mavs. All right, now I'll move on to the NHL. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to a busy slate for tonight. Lightning over the Habs 4-1. Bruins over the Devils 3-1. Red Wings come back to beat the Penguins 5-4 in OT on a game winner by Jake Wallman. Ducks over the Golden Knights 3-2. And the Flames over the Kraken 3-2. All right, 7 o'clock we have the Red Wings and the Sabres. Sabres minus 164. Red Wings plus 136. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 122. Unders even money. Red Wings plus 1.5 is minus 184. Sabres minus 1.5 is plus 148. I think this is a letdown for the Red Wings after winning in Pittsburgh. I'm going to go with Buffalo in regulation at minus 106. Habs Panthers. Panthers minus 295. Habs plus 235. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 132. Unders plus 108. Habs plus 1.5 is minus 105. Panthers minus 1.5 is minus 118. I'm going to take the Canadians on the puck line plus 1.5 and minus 105. Rangers Lightning. This is a big one for both teams. Lightning minus 125. Rangers plus 104. Over under 6. Overs minus 118. Unders minus 104. Rangers plus 1.5 is minus 240. Lightning minus 1.5 is plus 190. I'm going with the under. Sens Caps. Caps minus 178. Sens plus 146. Over under 6 minus 175. Sens plus 1.5 is minus 176. Caps minus 1.5 is plus 142. I'm going to go with the over in that one. 7:30 Jackets Isles. Isles minus 240. Jackets plus 195. Over under 6.5. Over receive money. Unders minus 122. Jackets plus 1.5 is minus 128. Isles minus 1.5 is plus 104. I'm going to go with first period result. Islanders plus 118. 8 o'clock Stars Wild. Wild minus 122. Stars plus 106. Over under 6 minus 195. Stars plus 1.5 is minus 250. Wild minus 1.5 is plus 198. I'm going to go with Dallas plus 102 to win. Blackhawks Blues. Blues minus 280. Blackhawks plus 225. Over under 6. Over is minus 118. Under is minus 104. Blackhawks plus 1.5 is minus 108. Blues minus 1.5 is minus 112. I'm going with the Blackhawks on the puck line plus 1.5 and minus 108. Canucks Jets. Jets minus 152. Canucks plus 122. Over under 6. Over is minus 124. Under is plus 102. Canucks plus 1.5 is minus 200. Jets minus 1.5 is plus 160. For this one, I'm going to go with the Jets in regulation at even money. 9 o'clock, Maple Leafs, Coyotes. Leafs minus 300, Coyotes plus 240, over under 6, overs minus 122, unders even money. Leafs minus 1.5 is plus 114, Coyotes plus 1.5 is minus 106. I'm going with Arizona plus 1.5 and minus 106. Kings, Avalanche. Avs minus 154, Kings plus 128, over under 6, overs minus 106, unders minus 114. Kings plus 1.5 is minus 205. Avs minus 1.5 is plus 164. I like the Kings on the road, plus 128. And last but not least, 10:30, Flyers, Sharks. Sharks minus 150, Flyers plus 132, over under 6.5. Overs minus, or unders even money, unders minus 122. Flyers plus 1.5 is minus 188. Sharks minus 1.5 is plus 152. For this one, I'm going to go with San Jose in regulation at even money. All right, Thursday Night Football tonight. We have the Cowboys and the Titans from Nashville. A lot of injuries on Tennessee. We're not going to see Zach Cunningham, Bud Dupree, Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, and Jeffrey Simmons, and Ben Jones, and Taylor Lewan. In Dallas, no Anthony Brown, Micah Parsons, Dexter Lawrence, Jeremy Kears, Tony Pollard, and Leighton Vander Esch were all questionable. Projection, Cowboys by 12, total 43 and 9/10, and it's 12.5 and 39.5. I'm going to take the over. Tennessee has a lot of injuries on defense, so I think that Dallas will put up a decent crooked number on them. I know it's Malik Willis. He stinks, but Dallas might do this by themselves. 31-10's a winner for the bet, so I like over 39.5 a lot. All right, English Premier League, we'll go over yesterday's results. We're going to do the soccer rapid fire is what I'm going to call the segment now. Man City over Leeds 3-1. Man City second, and Leeds 15th on the table. So we have 2 games on Friday. We'll preview and pick those on the podcast on Friday. And then we have games on Saturday and Sunday in the English Premier League as well. French League 1, we'll go over those results and look ahead to today's games. GCO over Angers 1-0. Troyes and Nantes 0-0 draw. Monaco over Auxerre 3-2. Lille over Clermont 2-0. Lyon over Brest 4-2. And PSG over Strasbourg 2-1. All right, 11 o'clock today you have Lorient and Montpellier. Lorient's minus 110, Montpellier's plus 270 draw, plus 260. We go with the Lorient at minus 110. 1 o'clock, you have Reims and Rennes. Reims is plus 250, Rennes is plus 105, and draw plus 240. This is an interesting one. I'm going to go with Rennes at plus 105. 3 o'clock, you have Marseille and Toulouse. Marseille plus or minus 260, Toulouse plus 550, draw plus 380. I'm going to go with over 3.5 goals plus 120. And then we have Nice and Lens. Nice plus 220, Lens plus 140, draw 2-1. For this one, this is a tough one. That is such a tough one. I'm going to go with Lens at plus 140. Okay, La Liga returns today. So, that should be fun. That is pretty cool. After their hiatus, 11 o'clock, we have Girona and Rayo. Girona plus 105, Rayo plus 260, draw plus 240. We can go with Girona FC plus 105 at home. Don't feel good about it, though, because Rayo's been playing well. 115, you have Betis and Athletic. But then again, they were playing well before the break. Betis plus 210, Athletic. Bilbao plus 125, and the draw plus 225. We're going to go with the draw plus 230. We're going to go with the ballsy play right off the bat here. Then 3:30, you have Atletico and Elche. Atletico Madrid minus 370. Elche eat the 1 dog. Draw plus 460. We're going to go with under 2.5 goals at plus 118. All right, English Championship League. That had a day off. Yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So, results from yesterday, it was Reading over Swansea 2-1 and Burnley over Birmingham 3-0. Those are the results from Tuesday. All right, 1 o'clock, you have QPR and Luton. QPR minus or plus 115, Luton plus 230, draw plus 230. I'm going to go with QPR at plus 115. 2:45, you have Blackburn and Borough. Blackburn plus 210, Middlesbrough plus 130, draw plus 220. I'm going to go Middlesbrough plus 130. Coventry and Cardiff. Coventry even money, Cardiff plus 260, draw plus 240. I'm going to go with Coventry at even money. Huddersfield and Rotherham. Huddersfield plus 105, Rotherham plus 270, draw plus 220. I'm going to go with Huddersfield plus 105. Millwall and Bristol City. Millwall minus 145, Bristol City plus 380, draw plus 260. For this one, we're going to over 2.5 goals at even money. Wigan and Sunderland. Wigan plus 175, Sunderland plus 155, and the draw is plus 220. This is a tough one. We're going to go with Sunderland at plus 155 on the road. 3 o'clock, West Brom and Preston. West Brom minus 150, Preston plus 420, draw plus 260. For this one, we'll go over 2.5 goals plus 120. And Blackpool and Sheffield United. Blackpool plus 380, Sheffield minus 145, draw plus 280. We're going to go with over 3.5 goals at 2-1. All right, friendlies. We'll go over the friendlies from yesterday, and we will look ahead to today's friendly. Feyenoord over Eamon 5-0 was the result from yesterday. And then today's club friendly match is Sassuolo and Inter Milan. So can't find it on here. Oh, here we go. No, that's Friendlies International. It should be on here. I think it'll probably be Inter Milan that wins. That would be my guess. I can't find it. So, yeah, I don't know what league where this would be placed in bets. So we'll go Inter Milan there. All right, and now the English League One. We'll look back. Well, I don't know if there was any games yesterday, was there? No. There was on Tuesday. It was Bolton and Derby 0-0 draw. All right, today, English League One, Barnsley and Fleetwood Town. Barnsley minus 175, Fleetwood plus 460, draw plus 290. For this one, we'll do over 2.5 goals minus 116. Bristol Rovers and Exeter. Bristol plus 120, Exeter plus 210, draw plus 230. We go with Bristol. Forest Green and Burton Abilene. Forest Green plus 175, Burton plus 150, draw plus 230. We'll go with the draw. Morecambe and Arkington. Morecambe 2-1, Arkington plus 135, draw plus 230. We'll go with Arkington plus 135. Oxford United and Charlton. Oxford plus 105, Charlton plus 250, draw plus 240. We'll go with the draw plus 240, do something different. Peterborough and MK Downs. Peterborough minus 150, MK plus 390, draw plus 280. For this one, we'll go over 2.5 goals, minus 118. Plymouth and Whitecomb. Plymouth plus 105, Whitecomb plus 240, draw plus 250. We're going to go with Plymouth at plus 105. Portsmouth and Ipswich. Portsmouth plus 290, Ipswich even money, draw plus 230. We go to Ipswich at even money. Sheffield Wednesday and Port Vale. Minus 175 is Sheffield. Port Vale's 5-1, draw plus 280. For this one, we'll go over 2.5 goals at plus 102. And last but not least, Shrewsbury and Cheltenham. Shrewsbury minus 175, Cheltenham plus 360, draw plus 230. For this one, we're going to go over 2.5 goals at plus 116. So there you have it for the soccer rapid fire. All right, NBA power rankings. We're going to do very quickly. We're going to do the same theme that we've been doing all week. Most overrated, underrated players over the past decade. From the 2013-14 season to now. All right, number 30, the Detroit Pistons. Overrated, Killian Hayes. Underrated, Andre Drummond. 29, the Charlotte Hornets. Overrated, Michael Kilgilchrist. Underrated, Al Jefferson. 28, the Houston Rockets. Overrated, Dwight Howard. Underrated, Patrick Beverly. 27, the San Antonio Spurs. Overrated, LaMarcus Aldridge. Underrated, Danny Green. 26, the Orlando Magic. Overrated, Markelle Fultz. Underrated, Nikola Vucevic. Lakers at 25. Overrated, Nick Young. Underrated, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. 24, the Toronto Raptors. Overrated, DeMar DeRozan. Underrated, Jonas Valanciunas. Number 23, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Overrated, Kendrick Perkins. Underrated, Paul George. 22, the Washington Wizards. Overrated, Trevor Ariza. Underrated, Russell Westbrook. Number 21, the Chicago Bulls. Overrated, Nikola Mirotic. Underrated, Taj Gibson. Number 20, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Overrated, Jarrett Culver. Underrated, Nikola Pekovic. Number 19, the Utah Jazz. Overrated, Dante Exum. Underrated, Joe Ingles. Number 18, the Atlanta Hawks. Overrated, DeMarre Carroll. Underrated, Kyle Korver. 17, the Indiana Pacers. Overrated, Roy Hibbert. Underrated, Bojan Bogdanovic. Number 16, the New York Knicks. Overrated, Tim Hardaway Jr. Underrated, Pablo Prigioni. Number 15, the Portland Trailblazers. Overrated, Alan Crabb. Underrated, Robin Lopez. 14, the Golden State Warriors. Overrated, James Weissman. Underrated, Andre Iguodala. 13, the Miami Heat. Overrated, Hassan Whiteside. Underrated, Chris Bosh. Number 12, the Dallas Mavericks. Overrated, Kristaps Porzingis. Underrated, Jose Calderon. Number 11, the Sacramento Kings. Overrated, Darren Collison. Underrated, Bogdan Bogdanovic. Number 10, the Phoenix Suns. Overrated, Eric Bledsoe. Underrated, Kelly Oubre. Number 9, the Memphis Grizzlies. Overrated, Tayshaun Prince. Underrated, Courtney Lee. Number 8, the Los Angeles Clippers. Overrated, Matt Barnes. Underrated, Montrezl Harrell. Number 7, the Philadelphia 76ers. Overrated, Ben Simmons. Underrated, Seth Curry. 6, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Overrated, Jake Crowder. Underrated, Matthew Dellavedova. 5, the Milwaukee Bucks. Overrated, Jabari Parker. Underrated, Brook Lopez. Number 4, the Denver Nuggets. Overrated, Kenneth Reed. Underrated, Ty Lawson. Number 3, the New Orleans Pelicans. Overrated, Tyreek Evans. Underrated, Drew Holiday. Number 2, the Brooklyn Nets. Overrated, Spencer Dinwiddie. Underrated, D'Angelo Russell. And number 1, the Boston Celtics. Overrated, Gordon Hayward. Underrated, Isaiah Thomas. So that's it for the power rankings and the overrated, underrated over the past decade. All right, news and notes time. Sorry, I had to rush through the NBA Power Rankings because we didn't have a lot of time to get into explanations for why I chose who for overrated and underrated. News and notes won't be long. So the big news from yesterday is that the Raiders will be benching Derek Carr as Jarrett Stidham will get the start for Vegas on Sunday. We talked about Derrick Henry being doubtful. It looks like Lane Johnson will be back for the postseason as he'll put off surgery on torn adductor and instead rehab for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Tua Tagovailoa ruled out for Week 17 with a concussion as Teddy Bridgewater will start. Ryan Jensen will return for the Buccaneers. And now has 21 days to come off injury reserve after the preseason knee injury. So that might be a big boost for the Bucs offensive line. And Derek Carr could be traded as the benching could be in part to preserve health for a potential trade after the Super Bowl. A lot of people around the NFL believe that this could be the year that Eric Bieniemy gets a head coaching job. Better get a job. Well overdue. Apparently, Dennis Allen's job is safe. It'd be a surprise if Saints don't. The Saints head coach doesn't return next season, despite the Sean Payton buzz. This reminds me of the Joe Judge situation from last year, except this would be a one and done coach in this case, with a coach that you parted ways with, quote unquote, last season that's still under contract. So we'll see. Terrell Owens is talking to the Cowboys as his agent confirms he has been in contact with the Cowboys and other teams about potentially coming back to the league. Whew. I don't think he would have any sort of impact if he came back. Sorry. Nick Sirianni shades a reporter as he explains why he would not rule out Jalen Hurts on Sunday. Russell Wilson on Nathaniel Hackett. I wish I could have played better for him. Yeah, no shit, Russell Wilson. You're the LVP of the entire NFL this year. Justin Jefferson says that Kirk Cousins has MVP numbers as he wants the critics to put more respect on Cousins' name despite the dad swag. I think that Jefferson's the MVP of that team and deserves to be in the conversation for the league MVP in general. He really has carried that team, Justin Jefferson. Like, he's having a season of the ages, and he might be the MVP right now. Although, if the Bengals win on Monday night, they'll rule out Mr. Joe Burrow. And then Devontae Adams had an Instagram post about Derek Carr, who got benched, obviously. He's probably really upset about it. Some baseball news. The Red Sox signed Corey Kluber to a 1-year deal. I don't know if I like that for the Red Sox. Kluber's just been bouncing around the AL East the last couple years and really hasn't been good. A nice signing for the Miami Marlins. Gene Segura, 2 years, $17 million with Miami. Good player for them. RJ Barrett out for a week or so after the finger laceration. That's not great for the Knicks. Kemba says he was selfish with the Knicks as he said he was looking out for himself when he shut it down last season with the Knicks. The Bucks owner, Larcy, might sell his Buck stake as he is actively looking to sell his stake in the team and could target co-governor Wes Edens as the buyer. Devin Booker out at least a month after suffering a left groin strain. He shouldn't have came back for that Christmas game. I think that set him back. Bradley Beal day-to-day after MRI. There is optimism that he'll return on Friday. And Alexej Pokusevski out 6 to 8 weeks with a non-displaced fracture in his left leg, so that's not great for the Oklahoma City Thunder, but it's good for their tanking chances, though. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. I'm taking Syracuse getting the points at Yankee Stadium against Minnesota. That is way too high of a line. I know the quarterback's playing for Minnesota, but ridiculous that it's only 10.5. I shouldn't say only 10.5. It's ridiculous it's that high. So give me Syracuse plus the 10.5 against Minnesota. They're plus 310 to win the game straight up. In case you are wondering. All right, so that's it for the show today. I'll be back tomorrow getting ready for a big New Year's weekend ahead. College basketball, college football, NBA, NHL, NFL Week 17. The new soccer rapid fire segment, and obviously news and notes and best bet too. So tomorrow's show is going to be perhaps over an hour and a half long. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.